This morning, we're taking a closer look at surveillance. We told you about Ring Home Security giving police some access to doorbell cameras. We know there are about 12 incidents where the camera footage was given to law enforcement without the homeowner's permission. But we wanted to think and talk about how much privacy you can expect from companies like Ring. Aaron Nolan is here with a revelation from Amazon, the company that owns Ring. Aaron?
Hey, Adrienne, good morning to you. These tiny little cameras have really become instrumental in owning homes. A lot of people have them. They've been great for us to check out our front door, our front porches in real time. They've been a deterrent and sometimes helped out in porch pirates and finding those people who have done that. But did you know from your Ring camera, some of this video can go directly to police, even without your knowledge? We now know just how often that's happening.
These days, cameras are everywhere, from convenience stores to ATMs, road intersections, the grocery checkout, and even doorbells. They've become a valuable tool for homeowners and police, but critics worry we're losing our privacy in the process.
Anyone with the right skill sets and the right technology can access these systems inside a person's home.
The latest alarm is being raised by Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey. He's been investigating Amazon-owned home security company Ring. Amazon is now responding to an inquiry by Senator Markey asking how many times this year has Amazon given video from a Ring device to police without the owner's permission. Amazon also explaining in each instance, Ring made a good faith determination that there was an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to a person requiring disclosure or information without delay. Chadwick Moore, columnist and contributing editor for The Spectator, isn't buying Amazon's rationale.
It's hard to imagine what the situation was that you would need access to someone's doorbell camera, the law enforcement that would stop imminent violence, and how long it would take to get that permission.
To some, the video handoff seems wrong, but Ring's terms of service warns users grant Ring permission to use and distribute the content for any purpose.
Amazon has agreements with 2,100 police departments all across the country. It gives them access to Ring video posted by users on an app called Neighbors. Now, Senator Markey says he's concerned about the partnership between big tech and the potential for abuse when it comes to tech and police. Adrienne.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much.
Now, we want to dig a little deeper into this with Ian Sherr. He is the editor-at-large at CNET. And Ian, first of all, can you just explain a little bit more about what the agreements are that companies like Amazon and Ring, they have with police?
So we don't have very much information, honestly. These agreements are often shrouded in secrecy. And part of it is what the government says is national security reasons, right? We're dealing with oftentimes stuff around terrorism or imminent national security threats. And so what the companies say is that they put a good faith effort into making sure that these requests are legitimate and that they are not disclosing information when they don't need to. But in all honesty, we have to trust the companies and the government to act appropriately here.
And we don't trust the companies and the government, or at least a lot of people don't. And that's interesting that those are, it's not very spelled out. You're signing on to some fine print and saying, fine, take my data, use it, whatever. But then they're not being very upfront with how they might use it. Now, we've got a lot of cameras in this society. You've got businesses that have surveillance video. These Ring doorbell cameras are everywhere. We live in Chicago here, and your speed is tracked by cameras, and your parking is tracked by cameras. Should you just expect to be on video every time you leave your house?
Well, the reality is that we do live in a world where cameras are cheap and easily accessible and connected to the internet practically everywhere. And so in a lot of ways, yes, that's become a part of modern life. And I think if you took someone from like 1999 and plopped them down in today, they'd be pretty surprised at all the things that we do, considering all the sensors we carry around, right? I mean, my phone tracks where I am all the time. Granted, it tells it to my wife, and I trust Apple and Google not to share that with other people. But again, that's a trust that I have. And it's the same thing with the cameras and the microphones we put in our homes.
And I want to show you, we're showing video right now, a 4th of July video of a family in Nebraska. and the fireworks situation went horribly awry, and we are not showing that by accident. That video came from Simply Safe, and the family says that that video was made public without their knowledge. So Senator Markey here was focused on Amazon, who owns Ring, but they've got competitors out there. Are they all in the same boat as far as what their security agreements are? And the fact that they can just sort of take your video and your information of you sitting in your own yard with your kids and put it out there in public, whether you like it or not?
Well, in theory, when they have a good reason, they will, right? And this is part of what those 12 incidents in the last year are what Amazon talked about. But I do want to point out that's 12 out of 1.4 million cameras that were sold just in the last year. So they are also being at least a little scrutinizing about the system. And so, yes, there is concern, absolutely. There is pushing from all sorts of places, including the Electronic Frontier Foundation, many other organizations, to try and get privacy laws on the books. But it is notable that the United States has been very far behind Europe and other places in the world in actually enacting real and with teeth privacy legislation that will force rules on this type of stuff.
Well, and that's 12 that we know about, right? But Senator Markey only requested it from one company. So isn't it possible there are many more incidents of this that we just aren't aware of yet?
It is. I think, honestly, these companies are aware of the reality of what happens when they share this information, right? Which is that eventually we will find. And if it is something that we're all uncomfortable with, we're going to tell them, take a hike, we're going to get rid of our devices. So they do have an incentive to make sure that they are doing this responsibly. They can't just act as an arm of the government, because then all of us are going to say, we're not going to buy the next one, right? So there is some pressure on them already. And it's clear now that Congress at least has a way to ask these companies about this. Us journalists, including us at CNET, have been asking about this stuff for years, but the companies refuse to disclose it. It is only now, because Congress is stepping in, that we're finding out.
All right. I'm glad we were following up on your reporting then. Ian Sherr, editor-at-large at CNET. Thank you.
I think a lot of people are just concerned about safety. And really, at whatever cost, it's like, how can I make myself feel more secure in my home? So whether or not the law enforcement is taking the footage, especially if it's a situation where there was a crime scene in front of your house, have at it. But at the same time, I think the biggest concern is the slippery slope, like Leland Vittert was speaking about on our show.
Well, it just puts you in such a tough position. It's like, do you want to be able to see what's going on at your house? Like, I've got a wife, a child, a dog back at home right now. Would I like to be able to look back there and make sure that they're safe? I would.
Absolutely.
But do I want somebody else to be able to do that at the same time that isn't related to me, who I've never met? I don't really want that, no.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of opinions about the story, but again, this is a conversation that we're having here on Morning in America. Still ahead. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.